Great news! There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
He is Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, Doe?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
Beasties are so dope.
We're Jalen Jacoby. What do we do?
We get the people what they want. It's a lot to get into, brother.
A lot. What a big night Saturday night was.
Yes. What a
Yankees
time.
Red Sox game right into what a fantastic undercard for UFC.
Did you see
29? I saw it all.
I watched too much sports.
I saw it all.
Did you see Aaron?
I saw everything.
You don't even know what I was saying.
I barely saw my kids.
Oh, yeah, well, you did see everything. So
Yeah.
you know about this because you're a Die Easy fan of every team, and you hate this team. Did you see when the Red Sox lost, Aaron Judge was leaving the Fenway, played a rendition, New York, New York. How did that make you feel, sir? That's the only team you...
Of course I saw that.
Your sworn enemy because you only hold down the Red Sox.
Of course I saw that, and didn't bother me at all. You're allowed to play whatever music you want to play when you're walking around, Aaron Judge. You know, whatever you want to do. I don't care. The problem is that song is good. And the problem with you know what the Red Sox song is?
This is where your care comes in.
You know what the Red Sox song is?
Sure.
Do you want to know what it is?
Yeah.
Sweet Caroline. Soft move. Because you're not going to see any Red Sox fan bumping Sweet Caroline after we beat them in Bronx. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to, Mookie Betts is not going to be like, let me, can you make sure your Bluetooth is turned on so I can play Sweet Caroline as we walk out of here? Whatever you want to do, man. That doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me at all.
All I know is
play the song. That's what they play every time in Yankee Stadium after the Yankees win, and that's what they're doing. They won
UFC,
the game.
MMA, on fire this weekend.
I loved it. I loved everything about it. Obviously, we're going to get into it during the television portion, but none of it bothered me about what happened after the fight. And the undercard, I made sure to watch the undercard because a lot of times during these big events is they strategically stack the undercard in a certain way to set up the future of the franchise. You know, because the one thing the UFC has is it seems like they always have one or two shining stars at a time. But it's, there's been times in boxing where there was just stars up and down every division.
Well, that's because unless you Khabib, everybody's going to lose. So therefore, you can position fighters.
It happens. I mean,
so physical and so brutal.
And, like the Volkov-Lewis fight, it really looked, I was like, oh, well, Lewis out of shape, had spinal problems. Like this dude, he's lumbering around.
He knocked him out late, like the rent was due.
Volkov is just like a technician, kind of breaking him down, using his length and his size, and using kicks and punches. And I was like, oh, this is gonna. All right, I guess they're setting up Volkov to be, another heavyweight champion, or whatever. And then wow, just wow, what a finish!
And I literally found myself being that dude. Like, wait a minute, this is great theater. I'm about to record this and put it on my IG live. I've never done that for football, basketball, boxing, no sport. That was my first time ever doing that. I was really intrigued.
Good.
I really was. What about the fight after that? Ferguson and Pettis. That was a bloodbath.
It was just so much fun. It was just so much fun. Like it was a spectacle. And there was, before the fight, they showed some of Pettis' highlight, and one of his best highlights was he jumps up, kicks off the cage, and then kicks this dude in the face, right?
That's awesome.
It was like, oh, okay. And it seemed like Ferguson had been watching film on him, was like, I can do that too.
Right.
So he jumps up, kicks off the cage, tries to punch him. He did that twice.
Yep.
And then Pettis tried something that was like a capoeira move.
Yeah, he did a pirouette in the air reverse.
And he put his hand down. It was kind of like Beat Street. He
like
put his hand down and then tried to kick him. And it was one of those things where it's like, I don't think this is going to work, but I'm not going to get hurt doing it. So let's just see what happens.
And also, I started to appreciate and marvel not at the physical attributes of distributing pain and taking it, but like just of the talent level, the athleticism, the dexterity of those guys. Like, to be able to box is one thing. To be able to wrestle is something totally different. To combine so many different, so many iterations of wrestling and fighting, and it almost like a weapon to see those guys perform. And while they were bleeding and kept going, it made me realize that's why I play basketball.
They were smiling the whole time. Like, this dude's nickname is Showtime, and he showed you. He was like,
Yes.
look, did I lose the fight? Yes.
Yeah, but I put on the show.
But, like, I put on the show. Does everybody know my name on Monday morning?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And it's unfortunate that his hand got hurt, too.
Yep.
And it was one of those things where it was also a nice insight when you watch the corner during that moment. They were deciding whether or not. And he's like, all right, like, you tell me if you can't go. I'm not going to put you out there if you can't go. And as a fighter, it's your profession. He doesn't want to fix his lips and say, throw in the towel. So he was just kind of quiet. He was like, my hand's hurt.
Here's why.
You could just see he didn't want to say it. Like, he didn't want to say it, but he kind of said it without saying it.
There's certain terms that get thrown around for generations, and a lot of people don't actually know where they came from. So in baseball, when you get injured, it's called being Wally pipped. While you're out, somebody great comes in and take your spot. I think it was Roger Maris who did that for the Yankees, a guy that he was replacing, or Joe DiMaggio. The same thing that will take place in the NFL. People are going to be talking about the Earl Thomas scenario and how he chose to return, though he really wanted to hold out and he got hurt. Versus the Le'Veon Bell situation, who I want to get paid. I don't want to put miles on my body, so therefore I'm going to hold out as long as possible. That is kind of how I felt about that situation. It's like the face now has a name and it has a term to go with it. And it was really great theater. I was excited to watch.
It was great. Yep. So I turned 40 this year, 40 years old. There's only like so many real significant birthdays in your lifetime. 18, 16, 21, 30, 40, 50. And then you don't even count 60. Then you get to like 80 again and it's over. Well, 40 was interesting because they call it over the hill. And when you turn 40, like, you just kind of start to feel old. Like, every time I go to tie my shoes, it's like an effort. Like, I make a noise when I go to tie. It's like, ugh. You know, it's like, oh man, I got to tie my shoes. I got to put socks on. This is going to be a while. And not only that, but you start to notice things when you look at old pictures of yourself. You're like, man, I looked younger. You see those little lines by the side of your eyes, those laugh lines, and face is just a little droopier. You're a little heavier. Your skin's a little drier. You just don't look the same. Some things get better with age. Wine does. A good song. Scotch. Basically just booze. But some things don't, which is your skin. Well, you can fix all that with 4hims.com. It's a one-shop stop for skincare, hair loss, and other wellness supplements for men. It's 4hims.com. They have an anti-aging kit that will be a custom prescription cream tailored to your skin that can keep you looking youthfully smooth and reducing the appearance of wrinkles and fine lines. The thing is, it's not really a secret. It's tretinoin. Tretinoin can renew and restore your skin by increasing the collagen and protein that keeps your skin firm. It's not something that you're excited to talk about. You and your friends are not going to get together and say, guess what? I've got this new anti-aging kit from 4hims.com. It's got me looking great. But it is one of those things that you will notice the difference when you use it. And you notice how you look different as you got older. 4hims.com can help you with that. It's your own skin. Take care of it. Right now, you can save $20 off your first month of the Hims Anti-Aging Kit. You can lock in those looks now and get your first month of anti-aging for $20 off. Go to 4hims.com/J&J Skin. That's 4hims, FORHIMS.com/JANDJ Skin. Go to 4hims.com/JANDJ Skin and start feeling a little bit better about yourself when you look in the mirror. There was a piece of news that we were both read this morning, and frankly, I'm disgusted. There are some times when you read the news, you say to yourself, how do we live in a world in which this is the case? I pray this is not true.
And injustice is happening
It's amongst us right now.
Before our eyes.
Right under your nose and before your eyes. Let me explain what happened that has us feeling this way. There was an announcement. Some details were leaked about a sequel that we've been waiting for over a decade. How High 2.
What movie?
Is coming. How High 2. And they gave us some cast details. Guess who's going to be a part of it? Some wonderful people. Let me list you some names. Little Yachty, he's going to be starring. DC Young Fly, Alyssa Goss, Lil Baby, Nee Leakes, Tiny Harris, Cynthia Bailey, and many others are going to be a part of it.
Shout out, Nene.
Yeah. All those people are going to be a part of the movie.
Yep.
Do you know who's not going to be a part of the movie? Reportedly. Do you know who's not going to be a part of How High 2?
Our brothers.
Method Man and Redman.
Our brothers.
You're going to do a How High 2. And they can't pop up for a cameo?
They can at least be the uncles. They can at least be the dealers.
They can't play like the cops. Why would I'm not? Hold on, let me get myself together. I'm disgusted by this.
And also, anybody that's watched this show, they know Method Man is a producer of this show.
He is. He's on the show like 3 times a week.
Redman is a contributor to this program.
Here's the thing.
He's on the intro.
See, Jalen, I've changed as I've matured. I've changed the way I approach problems. I used to just complain.
Upset.
I used to just be upset. Now I'm solution based.
Oh, you got a solution?
We got a solution. We're starting a petition to make sure that Method Man and Redman are part of How High 2. Follow at Jalen and Jacoby. We will tweet out the link to the petition. Join this movement right now.
And make sure you at Red and at Meth because we want them a part of this as well. This is a travesty.
I'm a robot vacuum cleaner, so yeah, I got one gig. I suck up dirt, so pardon my inferiority complex about Geico, who does so much more. Like, not only could they save their customers money on car insurance, but they got fast and friendly claim service too, and an award-winning mobile app. Plus access to licensed agents 24/7. Who am I kidding? I can't even do corners. Uh-oh, choking hazard.
Popcorn kernels.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Jalen.
What up now?
Is there like a single syllable or a sound that best encapsulates your feelings about the Lions' performance against the Packers?
Sure, and I must do a distinction for the national viewing audience. When we struggle, there's a purr, and we meow because it's not a good day.
Yeah.
The ferocity just isn't there when we lose. But when we win against the Patriots,
give it to the people,
and then beat the Packers, so y'all thought I was tripping. Anybody was listening to me, we done beat the Packers 4 straight times.
Here's the thing, Jalen Rose. Didn't just beat the Packers. They kind of whooped the Packers. Like it wasn't as close as it looked at the end there throughout the entire game. Stafford looked good. There was one thing that did help the Lions beat the Packers. The Packers kicker.
True.
Mason Crosby just missing field goal, missing another field goal, missing another field goal, missing another field goal, and then missing an extra point in a crucial moment in the fourth quarter. Do you think it was Crosby or do you think it was the Lions?
He was out there kicking like Bing Crosby. And the funny thing is Aaron Rodgers and he have been teammates for a really long time. Mm-hmm. Kickers normally get underappreciated and overlooked, though they have an important job to do. It's just unfortunate for Packer fans that he missed 4 field goals and an extra point. But anybody that was watching around the league, ask Cleveland, do they have any sympathy?
And it's not
There's
just
so many teams that have kickers that are struggling.
This isn't really about Mason Crosby. Like
at all.
The Lions were doing kind of whatever they wanted against the Packers defense. It was a great win for the Lions. Do you think the Lions could actually win the division in real life?
I think that people overrate the Packers.
Okay, that's not
I have to say
question.
that. I'm about to go through really quick the teams in the division. The Packers are one that people think are going to win the division. Mm-hmm. What ends up happening is when you have a great player in Aaron Rodgers, people underestimate all of the other flaws that you have. Like, they don't have a true running game. They were playing without a couple of receivers, though Devontae Adams went crazy. And their defense hasn't been consistent or notable. So I feel like we're just as good as they are. For the Chicago Bears, from what I saw from Mitchell Trubisky when he threw 6 touchdowns, that was special. Their defense, like I was telling people, it has an identity. That worries me. I understand from Buckets to Singletary to Urlacher. Now they got Khalil Mack. They drafted Roquan Smith. Like, their defense is stout. So I would say I give the Bears a slight edge over us, But the best team in the division is the Minnesota Vikings, and they showed it yesterday.
Probably. I don't believe the Lions are going to win this division, but I think you should savor these victories.
I will.
Savor them, because I don't think there's going to be too many more like this.
I don't know.
I don't think there's going to be too many more like this. But while we're savoring the Lions, let's take a look at my man Galladay.
Galladay
makes the great catch, and then we got safety coming over, little safety coming over, help eat that, and then continues to run almost all the way to the end zone.
What I'm talking
Stiff arm
about.
Highlights are my favorite highlights. They're just so disrespectful. This one's a little bit more off.
That's what he said to Clinton Dix. Ha ha!
It's a little
like Jada.
That was a little more off balance to me than like the power Marshawn Lynch stiff arm, but I always love a stiff arm. I have a quick question for you, Jalen. Where are my homies?
Where my homies?
Where they at? Where they at?
Where my homies?
Creeping through the hood.
Where my homies?
I love referencing Il Al Scratch every single week when we talk about Patrick Mahomes.
I'll take her.
And let me tell you, it doesn't look like this is going to stop anytime soon. And this time, Mahomes was not 4 touchdowns and 400 yards. Mahomes is pretty pedestrian. You know, he ran for a touchdown, but he threw 2 picks. But this was important for the Chiefs, and here's why. Their defense really showed up. Their defense was great, forcing turnovers in all different ways on the field. Could this win mean more for the Chiefs than a Mahomes' great performance because it gave him a little more balance?
No question about it. The way he set the league on fire his first few starts, for them to score over 30 and him not have a touchdown pass is truly impressive. Mm-hmm. Also, the defense that has been much maligned got a chance to play against the Jacksonville Jaguars team and I have to make this distinction because it seems like people keep forgetting this part. Yesterday, appreciate a run game. A lot of times it's the best friend of a quarterback. And when Blake Bortles can turn around and hand it to Leonard Fournette, which he was not able to do on Sunday, it now makes him a high-volume passer.
Yep.
So he threw for over 400. But he threw 4 picks, too.
A lot of those yards came in the fourth quarter when they were down and they were just kind of like moving the ball but not scoring.
And so the weapons, you see Tyreek Hill making the plays. Mm-hmm. You see Hunt making plays. Kelsey didn't get in the end zone making plays. So like they have weapons galore. And for their defense to play the way it did, again, the Jacksonville Jaguars were without Fournette.
Yep.
It was really impressive.
That hurt a lot. Bortles had to drop back and pass. They couldn't really stop the Chiefs' pass rush. Forced a couple turnovers, but the Chiefs look so good. Chiefs-Patriots next week, prime time, big game. Do you think the Patriots could beat the Chiefs?
I think who's playing at home?
I believe it's in Kansas City.
I'm going with Kansas City.
I think so too. I think Kansas City's far and away the best team.
They're steamrolling right now, but New England looks like a new football team.
New England. It's actually in New England.
I'm going with the Patriots.
Really? Oh, I'm going with the Chiefs. No question about it. I can't wait to make you do push-ups after that one's over. The Chiefs, to me, look definitely like the best team in the AFC, but there's clearly a best team in the NFC, and that is the Los Angeles Rams. Went into Seattle. Close game, went back and forth. They ended up needing a 4th and 1 run. Jared Goff pushed his way, got like 3 on it. He got stood up all pumped and made me so excited. Are the Rams, to you, clearly the best team in the NFC?
They are, and my Super Bowl pick as well. For a team that came into the game, they played without Aqib Talib. Marcus Peters didn't play like a Pro Bowler in that game. He continued to get burned. They lost Brandon Cooks during the game.
And Kupp.
But it shows their depth. Woods have been balling all year. Okay? And Todd Gurley, 3 touchdowns. You could give it to this guy in a run game. He helps you to play action. You could throw it to him in a pass game. Swiss Army knife type of player that you could give it to on 4th down and seal a victory.
So we all, looking at the NBA season briefly, we all kind of feel like it's going to be the Warriors and the Celtics in the finals. Right now in the NFL, it kind of feels like it's going to be the Rams and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, doesn't it?
It feels like that now, but I have to see the Patriots get beaten before I pick against them, though they have a 41-year-old quarterback, but he just so happens to play like Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. And you know that their weapon's going to continue to improve. Josh Gordon running more routes. He caught a touchdown the previous game. They got Edelman back. Gronk still seems like he's a little banged up. Don't be surprised if he eventually misses a few games. But I have to see a team take them out. The thing that they're going to have to contend with is usually they have home field advantage. And that didn't cost them in recent memory, but I think that may be something that bites them this year.
Definitely. The Giants, off to a tough start.
Yes.
They played a pretty good game against Carolina in Carolina, but then there was a kick, and it all fell apart. There's a lot of focus on Odell Beckham. He had some questionable comments made to Josina Anderson before the game. Then after the game, let's listen to what Odell said about what he said about Eli.
I don't regret anything that I said. If it took that for us to come together as a team like we did today, I could take that every single time. I kind of spoke to the team just to relay the message that sometimes stuff comes off the wrong way. Words can be portrayed in any kind of light. I'm trying to be a leader. This is a position that I've never been in. I'm trying to grow. I'm learning on the way, so I'm on the fly. But I'm proud of where we went.
Let me get this straight, Mr. Rose. Did he just go on wax and then speak badly about his quarterback, and then after a loss, take credit for what he said, bringing the team together, and then say he's a leader?
Correct. And to paraphrase, he says, if it took me talking bad about my teammates in the organization in the media for us to come together like we did today, then I would do it again. Does he not realize it was their 4th loss on the season?
I just love the idea that after all of this, he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pat myself on the back. Good job, me, causing all this controversy, getting all this attention, disrupting the locker room. You know what? That was a good job by me.
And so I'm not going to put all of the Giants' issues at the feet of Odell Beckham. No. For anybody that has 2 eyes, he's a mercurial talent, caught for over 100 yards. Finally got into the end zone as a receiver, threw a terrific touchdown pass to Saquon Barkley going up the right side streaking. He caught a couple of nice punts that resulted in short runs. However, he had his flaws. He dropped 2 balls. He ran into a ball during a punt that led to a touchdown for the other team. So the problem is when you try to be the leader that's going to call people out, you have to be perfect. Guess what players aren't? Perfect.
No.
And so when that dynamic now goes from but I got to make sure I take care of me, and yeah, I should score a touchdown every game. No, I should score a touchdown every quarter. I should get 20 receptions like the top receivers in the game. You can't always talk about what the team should do and it's going to make all of us great, but you're saying we need to give it to you and allow you to carry us there
to be great
when you're still shooting us down. You didn't accept being in New York City, said you love the sunshine. You didn't give your coaches any love or respect in the dynamics of play calling and leadership. Eli Manning, if he didn't realize, actually won 2 Super Bowls before he got there. And so that level of dysfunction is going to continue to carry this team throughout the year.
Quick question. What was Lil Wayne doing there? I didn't understand it. What was Lil Wayne doing there?
Well, it looked like I'll do the interview, but I got to bring the homie with me.
Yeah, it was like an emotional support rapper. You know how people have emotional support dogs? It's like, I have an emotional support rapper. Me and my emotional support rapper is Lil Wayne. He helps me through tough times. Josina, continue. That's what it felt like to me. And there's also, he has famously sort of blown up on the sideline, Odell Beckham Jr. But this week it was someone else. Let's take a look at Sterling Shepard, part of the receiving corps. He attacks the bench. That hurts your hand. I know you're frustrated. And then the trash can attacks the trash can. Now Odell Beckham is the peacemaker here. What do you think about all this frustration from the wide receiver core of the Giants?
Dysfunction. And there's exceptions to every rule for those that have been watching football for as long as I have. And one of the things that I notice, usually teams don't thrive when wide receivers are the leader. A guy that probably touches the ball 10 or 12 times. And in that dynamic, it has to be about me because a lot of times he's on an island or he's in a slot. So he's going to be judged by how many catches, how many yards, how many touchdowns. Not necessarily like a quarterback. They get judged by how many wins. So when your personal behavior of the leader is to blow up on the sideline, when your personal behavior as the leader to say, I know we play Green Bay on a Sunday, but we're going to kick it in Miami on a Monday. And then that same person that was with you both times saw you get a big contract at Sterling Shepard. Who was in the locker room celebrating with Odell when he got paid?
Sterling Shepard.
Okay. So now when he's the guy behaving like you, Odell was trying to console him, but guess what he couldn't do? He couldn't say nothing because I've seen you behave like that. That's why he was just touching him. That's why he was just trying to cool him out. That's why he couldn't be demonstrative as a leader. And it just creates an unfortunate situation because I've drafted Sterling Shepard the last couple of years on my fantasy team. He is a terrific player. I just feel like that team now has been vulnerable publicly for us to acknowledge they truly don't have the leadership that they desire.
We both put our money up for UFC 229, not knowing exactly what to expect from the event, and it didn't just deliver, it over-delivered. I think a lot of the focus is on the controversy that happened after the fight between Conor and Khabib. But first question for you is, did you get what you expected from the Conor and Khabib fight inside the octagon?
I did. Just the optics, and we talked about it on this program. I don't bet on sports, but I definitely would have bet on this one because I kind of saw this coming. Here's Conor, who's basically not been performing in UFC over almost 2 years, going against a guy who's undefeated, never lost a round. And his last fight, Conor's, was in a boxing ring against Floyd Mayweather.
Yep.
And so I knew he couldn't have an optimum performance just based on, the time being away. And being a terrific striker the way Conor is, Khabib did an amazing job of smothering him from the beginning.
He really did. I mean, Khabib was in control the entire time, and Conor started out playing great defense against the wrestler. Like you could tell that he had studied for this, he had trained for this, he had practiced this, was mentally and physically. But as the fight wore on and Conor got tired, he just couldn't hold up anymore.
But this is the one thing I appreciate about Conor. Like, he's self-made. The reason why we're talking about him is because he fought through turbulence. He found a way to turn himself into a fighter, turn his life around, and get a big payday versus Floyd Mayweather. I think now what has happened is his last 2 fights have actually given him moral victories instead of actual victories.
I don't know if this was a moral victory for Conor McGregor, Jalen.
Here's the moral victory. Because we're not talking about him getting beat down and put into a chokehold submission.
Oh, he did. Both of those things definitely happened. He didn't look like he was going to win that fight at any point.
And he never, at any point of the fight, hurt Khabib.
He landed a couple strikes, but it didn't feel like Khabib was in danger at any point during the fight.
He wasn't in danger. You could tell how much energy he had after the fight.
Well, that's where all of the focus is what happened after the fight. After Conor tapped out, you notice Conor tapped out, Khabib didn't let go, and Conor had to tap out twice. After that happened, Khabib, adrenaline just firing through his body. He was just so excited. He was just on fire. And then he starts pointing out Conor's jiu-jitsu trainer, and there's some words going back and forth. He took the mouthpiece out and threw it against the fence for some reason. And then with a security guard in front of him, security guard did an awful job of stopping Khabib, by the way. Security guard, his manager talked to him after that, like, dog.
You got one job.
You don't have to stop him from leaving the octagon, but you got to do better than that.
Right.
And then Khabib climbs the fence of the octagon, jumps towards the trainer, and a skirmish happens. And during that time, some of Khabib's team climbs into the octagon to sort of approach Conor. Perhaps a blow was landed on Conor, not. What do you think about all of that happened?
There was a reason why Conor McGregor didn't press charges. The reason why is he's instigated the entire thing. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about we can talk about the incident that happened in Brooklyn where he got it basically
threw a hand truck against a bus. Some fighters got injured. He's getting sued for it.
The promotion of the fight. We talked about it on this program. Disrespecting his dad.
Yep.
Disrespecting his religion. Yep. Assassinating his character. At some point, the difference in like a combat sport like MMA fighting, it's I want to win the fight and I'm going to win the war. I'm going to shut all y'all up. And so it wasn't like the Malice in the Palace where, and I'm not justifying his behavior because innocent fans and people could have gotten injured.
He should not have done that.
But what I'm saying is what his thinking was, I'm going after somebody that's also trained to do this. Not going after an innocent bystander
that said something to him.
Correct. Yeah. I'm going after a contributor, somebody that was been a part of this instigation the entire time. And that's why Conor responded the way he did, he was like, good knock in his tweet.
Yep.
Ready for the rematch.
So let's listen to Khabib explain what happened after the fight and why he did it.
I don't understand how people can talk about I jump on the cage, What about he talk about my religion, he talk about my country, he talk about my father. He come to Brooklyn and he broke bus, he almost killed couple people. What about this? I jump over the cage. Why people still talk about this?
I kind of agree with Khabib. I don't think it was that big a deal. People are talking about suspension. Should he be given his belt? Should the championship be taken away from him? It's like, it's not Malice in the Palace. And also, there's a little bit of it that's kind of like, like an NBA fight, it's like there was so much security there that Dylan Dennis and him are not going to square up and like really exchange blows in that environment. There was security on security on security. It wasn't going to go anywhere. I don't think it was that big a deal that he jumped into the try to attack Conor's teammate. I don't think he should really be punished that bad for it.
I think somebody need to allow Khabib to, however, know the reason why they're asking you at the press conference after the fight why you jumped out of the octagon, because 15 minutes ago you just did it.
You did just do it. Yeah. Okay. And it is one of the more controversial things that has ever happened. It was a spectacle.
Right.
It has led to beer throwing everywhere. It has led to fights outside and inside, and it's outside of the protocol. That
did take
not
place.
Normal behavior.
I don't believe he deserves to have his title stripped because he won that in the ring.
No.
I think he will be fined, but look at that as taxes. Look at that as an investment, because he's going to get it back tenfold when they do the rematch.
Well, let's see, because, Conor McGregor certainly is interested in a rematch after the fight and after everything calmed down. He tweeted this, good knock, looking forward to the rematch. You know who's not looking forward to the rematch? David Jacoby is not looking forward to the rematch.
Seriously?
I thought that was a dominant fight from Khabib. I'm not necessarily, I think that the tension and the going back and forth, the press conference will be great, but you know what's not going to be great? The actual fight. I'm not interested in seeing that fight again, and one of the reasons I'm not interested in seeing that fight again is because the undercard was so good for this fight. There was the Ferguson-Pettis fight, which was the co-main event, and it was clearly set up for the winner of that fight will face the winner of the second fight. And it was excellent. The Pettis-Ferguson fight was the most entertaining UFC fight I've seen in years. It was like and one MMA. Like Ferguson twice jumped off the fence and tried to punch Pettis. Pettis did this like capoeira move where he put one hand down and like did like a breakdancing kick thing. They were bleeding profusely from their heads, smiling throughout the whole thing. It was a show. I loved that fight so much.
I loved it too. Loved it so much that Ferguson will be on the undercard next time too.
Oh, I don't think so.
And
I don't think he'll be on the undercard next time.
Lewis, who did a great job of closing the deal against Volkov late.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, right there. That's how you close the deal.
Overhand shot.
He closed everything.
Shot. Everybody. And so, like, I disagree with you. I'm looking forward to the rematch for one sole reason. And this is why a lot of people are going to be watching. The train wreck. The one thing about talking the way Conor talks, unlike Floyd, we ain't never see Floyd lose.
Yeah.
See, people enjoy watching Conor get beat down, put into submission, and tap out.
If I'm Conor,
people want to see it again too.
If I'm Conor, if he loses twice in a row to Khabib, what's he going to do then? Put the boxing gloves back on? What is his next move at that point? If you're Conor McGregor, I think he should take a different fight, get a couple more wins, build some momentum, and then have a rematch with Khabib.
We'll see.
I think Khabib. I don't know who's going to beat Khabib. Like, he's on that Ronda Rousey thing where you can't even imagine that he could lose a fight, and then we all know what happened to her.
His ground game is crazy. He grappled him to death.
Jalen Rose, we are committed to covering every single team in the NFL. Every single Monday, we cover all of the games, not just the big ones that involve the Packers and the Giants and the big markets. So,
Cowboys,
we're going to put 40
Steelers.
seconds on the clock and cover every game that we haven't already talked about. First, the Bills are back. They made the playoffs last year. This year, they beat the Tennessee Titans. Jalen, what do you think of that play in that game?
That's the play that stands out to me. It highlights today's NFL when Jerry Hughes thinks he got a sack against Mariota. Thinks they're going to blow the whistle, and he lets up because he doesn't want to fall on him and get a penalty.
Did he think that Mariota let go of the ball there?
He know he got him.
Mariota lost the ball on his helmet.
He knows that.
See, there he's talking to the ref like, yo,
but that's where you want the official to blow the play dead if you don't want the defender to fall on him. And the one thing I need to say about that rule, if you're a defensive interior lineman, it's basically impossible for you to beat your guy on the inside, get a beeline to the quarterback, and never fall on him with your body weight. It's just unrealistic. It's one thing from a guy blitzing from the outside, but when you're on the interior, it's virtually impossible.
And there's also you have to hit them from the shoulders to the waist. And a lot of times you're on your way down. There is a 350-pound man trying to push you over and protect the quarterback. So a lot of times you're falling. It just seems like this has definitely gotten to a place where I kind of agree with Mike Tomlin. This has gone too far.
Shout out to Josh Allen, rookie quarterback getting
Next,
it done.
the Bengals. The 4-1 Bengals are sneaking up on the league. And the Dolphins, who were 3-0 at one point, not looking so good.
People got to give props to Andy Dalton. We know A.J. Green is an elite receiver. They've been a team that people knew that they had a lot of talent, but now they're playing up to their potential, regardless of who's in at running back. Joe Mixon was getting most of the carries on Sunday. They did an amazing job of continuing to extend their record against a Dolphins team that has now lost 2 in a row.
Dolphins were up 17-0 in this game. In the third quarter, it just kind of felt like, hey, maybe the Dolphins are for real. And then the Red Rocket strikes. 27 unanswered points. It just seems like Miami, just not adding up for them. Never really had.
And for the Bengals, the question is, will this be the year that Marvin Lewis leads his team to a playoff victory?
We'll see. Well, the Browns are now a 500 football team. After an overtime field goal to beat the Ravens, the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, are now 2-2-1.
You know what I'm going to do that national media never does?
Talk about Baker Mayfield?
No. Oh. Talk about the defense. Mm-hmm. Okay, when you take Myles Garrett number 1 overall, when you take Denzel Ward 4th, when you take Jabril Peppers in the first round, you need those guys to ball. And guess what they're doing? They're hitting. They're playing physical. They're helping balance off the fact that, yes, they have a rookie quarterback in Baker Mayfield who's doing a terrific job of swinging the ball around a lot. But at the same time, that defense has been stopped.
You know why I love Browns wins? The free beer and the J.R. Smith celebrations. J.R. Smith goes to every Browns game and after wins, takes off his shirt. He better start missing NBA games to go to Browns game. They'd be like, J.R. Smith isn't available today. He's at the Browns game and he's drunk and he's got his shirt off. I want to see that start happening.
That's a perfect example. When you're a vet, you made your bread, and you guys don't have championship or bust expectations.
Yeah, there's probably a practice he missed for that. The Jets beat the Broncos. It seems like Darnold's and the Jets have like a Blake Bortles thing going on where you just don't know which quarterback is going to show up. But Darnold looked pretty good in this one, and the Broncos are now 2-3.
No one can say that they saw the Jets ground game run all over the Denver Broncos. I'm talking about run right over them. Isaiah Crowell was the number 1 running back in fantasy, putting up big yards against them. And, of course, the talk is going to be about their quarterback, Sam Darnold. But Anderson be out there streaking.
Yep. The Broncos have now scored fewer than 30 points in 19 consecutive games.
Quarterback play.
The defense can only do so much for that team and that franchise. Finally, next up, we have the Steelers beating the Falcons. The Falcons, who were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago with a big lead, are now 1-4, Jalen. 1-4.
I'm going to say something that reeks of blasphemy.
What's that?
Shout to the Pittsburgh Steelers getting a victory. Antonio and Connor both scoring 2 touchdowns, and their defense stepped up, holding the explosive Falcons to only 17 points. Atlanta got too many weapons.
What? That's your answer for this? They're 1-4. Why are they 1-4? Jalen Rose, too many weapons.
On the offense,
the Chiefs don't have too many weapons.
They have, on paper, more people that they try to get involved in the game plan on a week-by-week basis than any team in the league. They bring Freeman back. They already have Coleman. Mm-hmm. You got Julio.
Jones,
you got
Ridley,
Sanu. You got Ridley.
Yeah.
They have too many people offensively that they're trying to keep happy. I think we would not be surprised. You ready for this? If they trade one of their major offensive pieces to get help on the defensive side of the football that has dealt with a lot of injuries so far this year.
I think that was articulate. I think it was smart. It was also absolutely incorrect, but I enjoyed every piece of it.
Watch.
Moving on, the Chargers beat the Raiders.
The Raiders are abysmal this season.
I feel bad for John Gruden. I still do.
And, well, he got $100 million. That's
I still feel bad for him. I still feel bad for him. You think in his heart of hearts he wished he was still in the booth?
No. They gave him the kind of bread that you just deal with it.
you know? So?
It wasn't like he got, and by the way, I'm not acting like these aren't millions of dollars, but you give me 100, then I'll come and deal with whatever has to happen.
Sure.
And he don't have to play.
No.
They paid Derek Carr his money, like an elite quarterback, which he isn't. But don't sleep on the Chargers. When they get Bosa back, that defense, to go with Phillip Rivers, who's been a model of consistency, I think they will have something to say about when the AFC is decided.
The Vikings beat the Eagles, and this was the NFC Championship last year, and you remember what happened in Philly. The Vikings got smacked. It must have felt good for them to come back and beat the Eagles.
Absolutely. And shout to Kirk Cousins, because so many people point at the money that he got, but yet he's really productive.
He's playing well.
And is it me? Oh, I love Thielen and Diggs as a 1-2 in the game. Like, they get it done. They get up the field. They both do intermediate. They both do crosses. They both go deep. Like, they are really impressive. And so Minnesota, again, as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be talk about the Packers and the Bears, and I see my Lions trying to do their thing, but they're the class of that division still today.
Eagles 2-3 after winning the Super Bowl. Moving on. A game I didn't watch. I don't think a lot of people watched this one.
49ers and Cards?
49ers and Cardinals. The Cardinals won. They're the only team. Now not a single team has 0 wins in the league.
I said it on this program, and these two of my guys, watching this game confirmed it. I really felt bad for Larry Fitzgerald and Richard Sherman.
Oh, yeah.
Because both of those guys, in my opinion, deserve to be playing on contending teams at this point of their careers. And these are becoming lost tape years for them.
After let's say a Cardinals running play that goes for -1 yards, and the two of them are locked up pretending to block and try. What do they say to each other after the running back goes down?
What you want to do?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get out of here. Me too. You saw what happened to Earl.
Where you going? Where you going on vacation this offseason? Oh yeah, right.
Like, dog, this ain't gonna be my last year.
You're trying a little too hard for this. Okay, stop pushing me so hard. And the final game we're going to cover, the night game, the Texans.
Night shift.
Beat the Cowboys. Both are now 2-3 and disappointing.
Dear Jason Garrett, y'all got an offensive line that you've invested more funds in than any team in the league. You have Dak, who's been a spread quarterback, and you have Ezekiel, who's a 3-down back and a bell cow.
Maybe the problem's you, Jason.
When it's 4th and 1, you got to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, that was ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. And a big shout to Hopkins with that play at the end, 2 spin moves, getting the ball down the field. It just seemed like, I mean, Deshaun Watson, we always say happiness is a function of realistic expectations. We might have to temper our expectations for him to truly enjoy him because he was just so good last year before he got injured.
No question. And watching he play as well as Cam, they put their bodies in harm's way too much consistently. They're going to get injured. You got to find a way to keep those guys upright and protect them.
Jalen Rose, we're in the middle of the NBA preseason. You know, people, they try rosters. They try different matchups. There was a matchup between the Celtics and the Cavs. We had a hold me back moment. J.R. Smith gets tangled up with Aaron Baines. And then we get Marcus Smart gets himself involved. A little push to the back.
Hold me back.
And everyone gets held back. After the skirmish, that was a funny part. They tackled them.
They lucky that didn't spill it to the fans.
To the locker room, little wave from JR. It was cute. You know, I liked it. And then after the game, they asked Marcus Smart about it, and here is what Marcus had to say.
I told him to come back to the back. You know what I'm saying? All that on the court. We can handle that off the court. I ain't with that, and that's on my mama. May she rest in peace. Ain't no punk right here. Man, on my mama, may she rest in peace. That dead. So, whatever happened. JR know where I'm at. Everybody know where I'm at. It is what it is.
Marcus Smart, definitely not a punk. However, he did say, I told him, come to the back, and we can handle it off the court. Jalen Rose, it's time for you to take us behind the curtain. See, people like me, we go to the games, but we sit in the stands. People like you go to the games, and you go underneath the stands in the tunnels, in the innards of the arena. If you wanted to fight somebody after the game that was on the opposing team, could you do so? Take me through the logistics and the scheduling and the motions of how it all works.
On my KRS-One, we're not promoting violence. We're just having some fun.
Okay.
Talking about 2 individuals who got into a verbal skirmish out on the floor, and Marcus Smart and J.R. Smith, who continued to carry it on. Here's how it works. When you're the road team, you don't have much real estate, first off.
Mm-hmm.
All you have is a little hallway and a little room for everybody to change and barely enough showers for everybody to take at the same time.
Okay.
Number one. So the home team clearly knows where that space is. 2, in Cleveland in particular, everyone leaves out of the same door.
Oh.
And the bus where the opposing team is parked, guess what it's by? All of the players' cars.
So they all are in the same parking lot, the same area. So when you're leaving, you see a lot of opposing players when you leave or whatever.
When you leave, you see everybody from the opposing team directly or indirectly if you want to. You see the fans, you see the players, you see the families, you see the staff of the team. You can physically see one another and have an altercation if you chose to, something I don't encourage. And hopefully when they have an altercation on the floor, team security understands that took place. It's heightened, so they intervene and make sure that things don't
extra
escalate.
Security by the bus, whatever. See, I am kind of a punk, unlike Marcus Smart. If I'm J.R. Smith, I'm taking an extra long shower. I'm taking a 30-minute shower.
Here's what ends up happening.
Just to make sure the bus is gone by the time I go out to my car.
Here's what ends up happening.
I don't want it.
Cooler heads prevail.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you finish the game, you go into the locker room, you decompress, you with your teammates, you with your coaches.
I don't want to
get
get
the
stat
stat
sheet.
right now. You're talking about what happened. You get in the shower.
Sure.
You're laughing and joking, especially if y'all won. And so at that point, the moment is gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what an altercation is about. Like, I'm engaging with you at the height of our dysfunction.
Of course.
Or when we're upset at one another. 30 minutes later, it's not like a street fight. It's just totally not the same because these guys are peers, and though they won't admit it publicly, they have a lot of respect for one another.
Well, thank you for taking us behind the curtain, Mr. Rose.
And JR has a history, recent in particular, with the Boston Celtics, so that dislike and that disdain is legitimate.
Oh, he's got a long history with the Boston Celtics. Look at those playoff matchups. Well, there's another Jimmy Butler trade update. I'm starting to get Jimmy Butler trade update fatigue. I'm starting to get fatigued. The latest is like, Miami, it was really close to making a deal for J.R. Smith, but the Minnesota backed out the last second. So the Miami Tribune is saying that these are the assets that they are willing to trade and that Minnesota is looking for. Jalen Rose, looking at this list, you've been hired and you are handsomely compensated to be an arbiter to make this deal happen objectively and fairly. What is a fair deal for Jimmy Butler using these assets?
Those assets won't get it done.
Wait, what?
Those assets won't get it done.
You're not. Wait. I'm sorry. You're saying that a combination of these assets, 3 of them, won't get it done? Oh, that definitely gets it done.
If I'm Minnesota,
Richardson, Bam Adebayo, and a number 1 pick, I would do that right now if I was Minnesota. Given everything, I would do that right now.
You would?
I would.
I wouldn't. Because here's what you got to think about when you're doing a big deal. We have to keep somebody for him to run with. And you want to keep Bam up front because Whiteside showed you emotionally and productivity, you can't rely on him constantly. That's why Bam is there. That's why he was playing. Kelly Olynyk, they signed him to a big deal, and he had his moments in the playoffs, but you can't have him and Karl Anthony Towns playing alongside of each other. They're just not enough bulk, and it's not physical enough. You want to keep Richardson to play with Butler. If you guys want to take Gordon Dragic's contract and you want to take Justice Winslow and a number 1 pick, cool. You can have my backcourt, but I kind of need Richardson, a top flight defender, and Bam to give me toughness because I want Jimmy, Richardson, Bam, and Whiteside to be on the team. So now I have a stout defense.
I love Bam and Richardson. That's why if I was Minnesota, I wouldn't back out of a deal that included those two.
Those are 2 players that also you can't. This is what people can't underestimate. I developed those guys. So those guys didn't come in as high draft picks, knockout prospects that everybody thought, okay, they're going to be the players that they're becoming. Like, the Heat drafted them, showed them how to work, showed them how to watch film, showed them how to take care of their body, showed them how to be a part of the system. And so they groomed those players to now graduate to playing quality minutes. You don't just trade them.
We always say we give the people what they want. Part of giving the people what they want is listening to voicemails. Ladies, we need your support.
Hey, ladies!
Ladies, call 985-80-JALEN. Leave us voicemails. We do only female voicemails on Wednesdays. Today, we're taking all callers just like this one.
Hey guys, this is Erin calling from Cleveland, Ohio. Shout out Reggie. Have to ask you guys a question. My boyfriend and I are having this huge debate about whether or not Halloween costumes, couple costumes specifically, are cool or not. So boss move or soft move to wear a couple's costume. what you guys say will determine what we do for Halloween. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. Love the show.
I'm going to take this one.
Okay.
Aaron, shout to you. Shout to your boyfriend. Shout to Cleveland.
No doubt. Thank you for the call. Appreciate the support.
Monday's always nice in Cleveland when the Browns win. Here's the problem, though, Aaron. Couple costumes are a soft move. They're a soft move. And here's how the couple costumes work. It's never his idea. Nope. The dude's never out like, hey, let's dress up. Nope. You know, like Laverne and Shirley. The dude's never out there like, let you be Cleopatra and I'll be Cleopatra's pharaoh assistant. It's never like that. It's always the female's idea, and there's always some dude who just goes along with it because he doesn't want to have the fight. Yep. And he doesn't want to kill her dreams. But I'm telling you right now, Aaron, do your boyfriend the favor of not doing a couple's costume.
And I disagree, boss move.
No, it's not, Jalen. It's not.
Here's why I disagree. There's a difference between matching and coordinating. It's way different. And you gave a distinction of certain costumes that could take place. Just because she's Wonder Woman, that don't mean you have to be whoever that sidekick may be. You can still be Superman. You don't have to have a
Wonder Woman sidekick.
You don't have to have the lesser version. I saw the movie.
Yeah, it was like some dude.
Correct. That's my point. You can still be Superman, Batman, Aquaman.
You can be the invisible plane.
Right. So just because she's a character, for example, of the Super Friends.
You know what? You're wrong. This is your defense of couple costumes. Did you do it before or something? Are you and Molly planning on doing it or something?
We have not done it yet.
So here's what I know. I know if I ever see you and Molly doing a couple's costume, I know it's her idea. I know you're just playing along. I'm not going to see any posts on Instagram about it. Only on her feed. That's how it works. And what do y'all...
But all camaraderie, because we support power couples on this program, is positive.
Shout out.
So therefore, if you dressing up in a Halloween costume is going to make her happy, guess what your boyfriend should do? Make it happen.
Now, I'm married. So that ain't happening. Thanks so much for the call, Aaron.
You graduated.
I want to thank everybody for calling in.
He's still trying to get his diploma.
Ladies, don't forget to call 985-80-JALEN and leave us a voicemail. We always appreciate all of your support. Don't forget to voice your pleasure about the Jalen and Jacoby podcast with reviewing it on Apple with 5 stars and leaving a comment. And also, don't be afraid to just at ESPN and tell the executives how much you love the show.
Right now, pull out your phone and put at ESPN and let them know how much you appreciate our program. You know, we've grown a lot. Podcast, 30-minute TV show, late night show, 2 in the afternoon for 30 minutes. Now we on from 2 to 3 in the afternoon. DVR the program. We need you guys watching the show, continuing to support.
I'm so upset about this How High 2 thing. Everybody right now. We've already tweeted out the link. Go to at Jalen and Jacoby. We've tweeted out the petition. I don't know listen, we haven't really thought this through. I don't know what's going to happen if a lot of people sign this petition, but I do know this. Use your voice. It's important that you use your voice.
Let your voice be heard.
Rock the vote.
We need red and meth in How High 2. Use IG, use Twitter, use Snapchat.
Shout out.
We'll be back tomorrow. Why is that?
We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
They my little guys. I love them.
Speaking of the Hobbits.